I'll share the brand of acrylics I have. This is a new one. I'm kind of excited to use these. Let's see. Welcome everyone. Just joining. I just got a new set of acrylic markers, and so I decided to come on live, work on swatching these, and I just had a question. I figured a little chatting. Any movie that inspired you to read a book, either a book series or get into a certain genre of reading that you hadn't considered until watching that movie? For me, it was the Predator movies. I went back and started reading the different comic books. Harry Potter. Okay, so you watched the movies first and then you went back and read the series. Have you read the entire series? Oh, that's cool. I've only read the first two. But I also have only seen the first two movies for Harry Potter. I guess John Carpenter's Vampires too. I watched it a long time ago, that movie, and recently read the book that movie was based off of. I went to the movies to see The Fault of Our Stars, and I hear that was a really good book, but I've not actually read the book for that. I feel like I'd be crying the whole time. Is that Stephen King? Hi, Max. Okay, so you invested the time for the 1,000-page book. Are you watching Welcome to Derry? Max, was that yes to watching Welcome to Derry? Okay. I was trying to understand if Welcome to Derry is actually following like the beginning of the book It, because I get it, like it's actually a long history in that town of Derry. And I was under the impression that a lot of the book is just explaining the history of Pennywise and his relationship with that town. I actually read The Exorcist this year as well. Let's see. I read a lot of S.A. Cosby this summer, and I thought that they were making a couple of his books into on screen. Like, I think Netflix was, unless that was just a rumor, was going to make some of his books into a mini series or a movie. I think I was very disappointed when I read John Stakely's Vampires. John Carpenter's Vampires is based off of that book. It was just, that was just really, I was just kind of felt like there were parts of the book that did not age well at all. Here we go. Yasmin, I see you said yes. What is your yes to having read it, or? Do you have any movie that made you double back and read a certain book? I feel like with The Exorcist, if you've seen the movie, you have the general gist of the book. That's just my opinion. I did not enjoy the book as much as I enjoyed the movie. But I like the genre of thriller and horror, so I think in 2025, my goal is going to be to read Dracula because I enjoy that genre and I enjoy reading vampires. And I feel like I should read Dracula. at this point. And I've gotten through a few comics. I don't know how people feel about comics, but I feel like that's good reading. I mean, it's not 200 to 400 page novels, but I went to see Predator's Badlands, and I always enjoyed like Predator 2 in particular, but that franchise, and I was inspired to kind of double back and read some of those books. Or comics, I guess. That's a better answer for those. Welcome if you're just joining. I'm just kind of swatching some colors and just having a very small discussion about books and movies that inspired you to kind of go back and read certain books. I typically color with acrylics with artist tape that I have on images I've designed myself while listening to an audiobook. I tend to just come on live and color, but it's harder to listen to the audiobook. And I decided to bring my interest with reading to the live coloring sessions, because you can connect with people all over the world and get some good book recommendations. And I feel like on certain platforms, the book recommendations start to repeat themselves. And I'm just hoping to expand my horizons when it comes to good thriller, horror books, action, and get some other interesting takes on some of the more popular books that are out there. If you were on my live last night, I mentioned that I am currently reading Bury My Bones in the Midnight Soil. It's a long listen. It's like an 18-hour listen. And I did not get a chance to listen to my book today. So hopefully tomorrow I'll get some time. Today was a crazy day. If anyone has any book recommendations, I'm always interested in those too. Yesterday, someone recommended, I think the name of the book was Root Magic, and I still need to go back and look that up. Oh, goodness, I forgot I read Octavia Butler's, well, let's see, I read Wild Seed, I read Kindred, I read Fledgling. I read a few things by her this year. I forgot Kindred was made a movie, but it wasn't, I actually wasn't inspired to read Butler based on watching the movie. I was inspired to read Butler because I'm into science fiction, thriller, horror, and all these years I've been interested in Butler and had not had a chance to read her. And there was a PhD doing like a free course online called the Octavia Butler Mixtape, and you can actually find those videos, I think, right here on YouTube. And I decided to kind of read along with the class she was hosting for free. And then she would do she was on TikTok doing TikTok lives on different parts of the book. And I think right now she's doing Jameson, 5th season. I hear that is excellent. I believe that book won a Hugo Award, or I think all 3 of them are heavily awarded. I do want to read those, but yeah, I think her name is Dr. Brianna Whiteside. I hope I did not butcher her name. And her video should be right here on YouTube for Octavia Butler. So I guess this is a few books that I read this year that have movies attached to them. I did not read Octavia Butler's Parable series yet. After I got through Fledgling, I kind of emotionally needed a break. But she is an excellent writer. She has passed away, but she deserves all of her flowers. Thank you to folks who have hit that like button and the follow button. I want to come back on and do some lives about some of the books I've read. Well, I'm going to color, but I'm going to talk about the books while I color. And see if I can get some more recommendations from people tuning in on what they've enjoyed reading this year. Got here. This is mint green. Ooh. I am so excited to have more acrylic colors. I am gonna have a field day with this. Bring some of these colors down this way. Let's see here, just straight up green. Let's see here. Hey, if you're just joining, I am swatching some of my new acrylic markers. Kind of having like this very brief discussion about any movies you might have watched that inspired you to go backwards and read a book series. And then I realized in this discussion that I have actually read a few books this year based on movies, but only a couple of them did I consciously like watch a movie and say, oh, I need to go in reverse and read this book. So feel free to drop down in the comments and let me know if there's any books or any movies you've watched that inspired you to go back and read the book. I guess for me this year, it was, if you're new here and you haven't heard this, The Exorcist and Predator Badlands. And I'd watched The Exorcist a bunch in the past, but I finally got around to like reading the book this year. And Predator Badlands, because I've enjoyed that franchise a lot, and decided to start reading some of the comic books attached to Predator and, or Yautja, as you call them, as they are known. Hey. Oh no, I got earth yellow on my... That's an interesting color. Okay. Thank you for the likes. I'm not really doing much tonight, but just getting the swatches done for my new acrylics. I was starting to, my current acrylic markers were starting to run out because I use them so much, because I've been listening to audiobooks while I color. And you can kind of go back and look and see some of the coloring I do. I create what I like to call ugly art with artist tape and acrylic markers. It's just all about being calm and reducing anxiety, focusing so that I can read or listen to the audiobooks. I also keep a little journal with the audiobooks that I'm listening to. I'll bring the journal, and maybe next weekend I'll kind of pop in with my journal and let you guys take a look at that. If you're interested in that, you can subscribe, and when I go live next week, I will have that. And you can see what I do with that. It's nothing fancy, honestly. But if I can help one person figure out how to get over a reading hump, even if it involves just like listening to a book, then I am happy to have been of service. For me, it's coloring while listening to the book. And I like to listen to my books on like 1.2 speed. My brain just processes the information better when I'm listening to it on that speed. And I wish I discovered this technique years ago for helping me focus to listen to books, because I was able to listen to like 35 books this year. Once I figured out how I consumed books the best based on my schedule and everything I had going on. Oh, took that up. All right, 3 more. I rather enjoyed swatching these. That did not take me as long as I thought it would. Excellent. All right, black. Sweet. Whew. Nice. I still feel kind of new coming on live, so I hope I'm doing this right. I figure live is a good way to come connect with an audience while I color. I'm not listening to a book when I'm on live, but I am interested in coloring and having conversations about books, and I'm fascinated with the types of books other people consume and why they enjoy those genres. All right, I am done with my swatch for the evening. Perfect. And now I am ready to start coloring again. Now that I've got a new set of markers and they're loaded with ink, I'm ready to go. And this is the brand. I mean, I sometimes color with Sharpie. There's another brand that I use. I've actually not done any pictures with this brand yet. So it'll be interesting to see how these look on the black media paper that I use. But that's done. I hope everyone has a good night. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to continuing conversations about books while I do some coloring. And I will hopefully be able to log back into live next week and chat more. Everybody have a good night.